Hello everyone, we're here to present to you our paper titled Ethics and International Marketing, an application of concept to Lululemon. I present to you the project team members for Group 7, myself, Collins, Ayodeji, and Shivana. Here is the table of contents that will guide our presentation. We're starting with an introduction of the concepts, theoretical framework of the writer, methodology and approach of the writer. Then we're going to review some of the discussions of the writer which borders around ethics in global market practice. We're going to present the findings of the writer. Then finally, we're going to apply our findings towards Lululemon. The purpose of this paper is to review how ethics has evolved in the international marketing, focusing on the challenges businesses face in navigating ethical practices in global markets. It sets the stage for understanding the complex issues that arise when companies operate across different cultural, legal, and social environments. And the context of marketing ethics examines how businesses balance profit making with social responsibility. Historically, marketing was seen as a neutral tool to meet consumer demands. However, ethical issues arise because marketing directly influences consumer choices and can sometimes prioritize profit over societal well-being. The challenge lies in defining what is ethical, as moral expectations vary across different regions and stakeholders. The theoretical framework of this paper is based on a blend of utilitarian, deontological, and ethical relativism perspectives, providing a foundation for analyzing ethical issues in global marketing. Kant's theory emphasizes duty and moral obligation. From this perspective, companies have a moral duty to benefit society, not just pursue profits. According to Kant, actions should not be driven by self-interest, but by the intentions to serve societal welfare. Meanwhile, Mill's approach is utilitarian, meaning the ethical action is one that maximizes overall happiness for the greater number of people. However, a key challenge is defining who exactly benefits and to what extent. The third theory, which is ethical relativism, states that there are no absolute moral standards. Instead, what is considered ethical varies across societies. In international marketing, this means that what is seen as ethical in one country may not be in another. Companies must adapt to the local ethical norms of each market, which adds complexity to creating universal marketing standards. The methodology of this paper appears to be primarily a literature review. The authors have examined historical and current trends in international marketing ethics by reviewing existing literature and studies on ethical practices in global markets. Key aspects of the methodology includes review of scholarly works, where the paper synthesizes findings from various scholars who have studied marketing ethics, particularly in international settings, to provide a comprehensive overview of how ethics in marketing has evolved. And this explores ethical theories like utilitarianism, deontological ethics, and ethical relativism to frame the discussion on the complexity of maintaining ethical standards across different cultural, legal, and social environments. The authors have also contextualized international marketing challenges by reviewing real-world case studies where multinational corporations either upheld or violated ethical norms, particularly in developing markets. The paper uses a qualitative exploratory approach that involves analyzing and discussing various scholarly perspectives and ethical frameworks to offer insight into the challenges of international marketing ethics. Now we shall look at the reviews and discussions the writers had in this paper, which borders around ethics in global market practice. In order to answer the question, do marketing ethics matter? They highlighted that marketing ethics have become a central issue for business today, identifying that initially, marketing was viewed as an ethically neutral tool, primarily concerned with driving sales and profit. However, over time, there has been a growing recognition that marketing decisions have profound ethical implications. Now, the historical perspective to this is that early marketers largely focused on consumer demands and profitability, often neglecting the ethical impact of their actions. But the modern shift today, we are in what scholars call the ethical era, where business must think beyond short-term sales and consider long-term societal welfare. This change reflects the growing consumer awareness and expectations for the ethical behavior in areas like product safety, environmental sustainability, and fair advertising practices. Now, the key takeaway from this is that marketers must balance satisfying customer needs with ethical considerations to build trust and support societal well-being. This ethical approach is not just about compliance, but about fostering a deeper relationship with consumers. Now, they also looked at international marketing and importance of ethics, and recognized that as companies expand globally, the challenges of maintaining ethical standards become more complex, particularly in developing markets where legal frameworks are weaker. Multinational corporations often operate in environments where they hold more economic and political power than local governments. Now, there are different things in play here. Number one of them is power dynamics, where in many emerging markets, multinational corporations have the advantage, which can lead to situations where ethical lines are blurred, especially when local laws are insufficient to protect consumers. The consumers are vulnerable in these regions and are often less protected by regulations, making them vulnerable to exploitations, such as being targeted with harmful products or unethical pricing strategy. For example, tobacco companies aggressively marketed their products in regions with less stringent regulations. It is critical for multinational corporations to uphold high ethical standards regardless of local laws to avoid exploiting these markets. Companies must strive to contribute positively to society, ensuring that their actions benefit both the bottom line and the communities they serve. Now, the key takeaway from this is that in international marketing, it's not just about following the laws, but about maintaining a universal ethical standard that protects consumers and respects societal values across borders. Now, the paper summarizes findings from 6 different articles that examine the international marketing ethics from various perspectives. Number one of them is fair trade marketing, where they analyzed how fair trade has been mainstreamed into global commercial distribution. It highlights the tension between fair trade ethical mission and the profit-driven nature of mainstream marketing. Second of them is consumer attitudes in Belgium, which focuses on Belgian consumer attitudes towards ethically labeled coffee. It finds that consumers are influenced more by distribution strategies and labeling than by advertising. Religious influence on ethical position explores how religion affects consumers' ethical decision making in 5 countries. Also, eco products marketing in UK and Romania. Compares how ecological products are marketed in UK and Romania. UK companies use their eco-friendly image to expand internationally, while Romanian companies focus on export for profit. Ethical perceptions in the US and Thailand compares how business people in the US and Thailand perceive unethical marketing practices. It finds that Thai managers perceive less moral intensity in unethical behavior than their US counterparts, highlighting that ethical standards differ based on economic development and cultural context. Now, finally, representation of ethics in marketing communication discusses how international marketing campaigns represent different identities and cultures, because branding and visual strategies can create problematic cultural depictions. Now, we shall look at the findings of the writer. A core finding is that the ethical standards in marketing differ significantly between developed and developing countries. In many developing markets, weaker legal and regulatory frameworks make it easier for multinational corporations to engage in unethical practices. The paper highlights that multinational corporations often wield more economic power than local governments in developing communities. This can lead to situations where these corporations exploit the lack of legal protection, engaging in harmful or manipulative marketing practices. Another key finding is that multinational corporations may exploit vulnerable population, particularly in emerging markets. These consumers, often poorer and less educated, are more susceptible to unethical marketing practices, such as promotion of harmful products, for example, tobacco, or unavoidable luxury goods. The paper underscores the difficulty multinational corporations face in balancing local customs and expectations with universal ethical standards. While ethical relativism suggests adapting to local norms, the paper argues that multinational corporations should maintain a consistent ethical approach that prioritizes consumer and societal welfare. Now, finally, the paper suggests that marketing ethics is entering an ethics era where businesses are increasingly held accountable for their actions, not just by governments, but by more informed and socially conscious consumers.
The overview. Lululemon was established in 1998, 26 years ago by Chip Wilson. It has its headquarters situated in Vancouver, British Columbia and incorporated in Delaware, United States. Its main product was premium athletic apparel, yoga pants, before increasing its portfolio into athletics wear, personal care product, lifestyle apparel, and accessories. It is listed as a public company and traded in Nasdaq 100, and SP 500. As of 2023, it has expanded its outlet to 711 stores. It has 38,000 employees and made a net income of 1.55 billion US dollars. Applying the ethical approach to Lululemon. Lululemon Impact Report is based on 3 pillars: be human, be well, and be planet. Be human is an example of Kant's ethical approach, which is based on duty and moral duties. Here, Lululemon will be able to reach 41% radical diverse representation of employees below the assistant manager level within their retail stores in Australia, Europe, New Zealand, and North America. Also, they are ranked number 1 for the second consecutive year in the Know the Chain benchmark for disclosure of information on forced labor policies and practice. Under the second pillar, Be Well, John Stuart Miller's authoring approach, which advocates for actions that maximize happiness for the greater number of people, which centers more on corporate social responsibility. Through the Lululemon Center for Social Impact, they have freed 7.4 million people since 2021, providing them with access to well-being tools and resources. Also, they are the sponsorship of track and field and ultramarathon athletics. Under the third pillar, which is Be Planet, they have rolled out repair programs in the majority of their stores in China, mainland, and Europe, and repair pilots in Australia and New Zealand. Also, they have unveiled one of the world's first enzymatical recycled nylon 6.6 product, making it a key milestone in the textile-to-textile recycling. Now, moving on to ethical challenges Lululemon faces. Product transparency and false advertising. In 2007, the company falsely claimed that its clothing was made from seaweed fabric that released health benefits like vitamins and minerals. This led to accusation of deceptive marketing practices, as the claims were debunked by lab tests. Also, we have labor practices, which is an example of ethical relativism. Lululemon has been criticized for labor rights violations in overseas factories, particularly in Bangladesh, where factory workers reportedly being subjected to poor working conditions, long hours, and low wages. Such conditions raises concern about exploitation and workers' dignity, often contradicting the company's public image of well-being and ethical responsibility. Cultural sensitivity is another example. Former CEO Chip Wilson sparked controversy in 2013 when he made remarks implying that certain body types were not suitable to Lululemon's clothing, raising concerns about body image and inclusivity, which also to an extent had an impact on their brand image as well. And finally, environmental impact. Lululemon has faced scrutiny over the environmental impact of its product, particularly the use of non-sustainable material like polyester and nylon, which were derived from fossil fuel. As a result, this has raised concerns about waste and pollution generated by this material, as well as companies' overall carbon footprint.
Now we will be exploring on the implications for Lululemon. Lululemon has 4 key opportunities to enhance its market position and drive growth by focusing on ethical practices and sustainability. First, it can position itself as a leader in corporate social responsibility, or also known as CSR. By investing in ethical labor practices, sustainable sourcing, and supply chain transparency, Lululemon can attract millennial and Gen Z consumers who focus social and environmental responsibility. This commitment will also strengthen brand loyalty and further establish Lululemon as an ethical leader. Besides that, Lululemon can differentiate itself from competitors through sustainable product innovation. By incorporating eco-friendly materials like recycled fabrics and organic cotton, it can appeal to environmentally conscious consumers. Moreover, developing a circular economy model where products are designed to be recycled, it can reduce waste and create a new revenue stream through product take-back programs. Lululemon also has the opportunity to strengthen its brand image through ethical consumer engagement. Providing transparency about its production processes, fair labor practices, and sustainability efforts can deepen its relationships with customers. Ethical branding becomes a powerful marketing tool that allows the company to build trust with its audience and enhance its overall reputation. Finally, Lululemon has the potential to take on global leadership in ethical practices. By setting high ethical standards across all the countries where it operates, they can act as a role model for other companies in the fashion industry. This can open doors to new markets, especially in regions with strict regulatory requirements around sustainability and ethics, such as Europe. Now moving on to how Lululemon can capitalize on those opportunities through the implementation of several strategic recommendations. The first recommendation is to strengthen supply chain transparency and fair labor practices. The company should establish a comprehensive audit system for all suppliers to ensure ethical labor practices. Having regular independent audits in countries like Bangladesh and Cambodia will guarantee that their workers receive fair wages and work in safe conditions. By partnering with local NGOs, such as the Fair Labor Association, also known as FLA, will ensure fair wages, safe working conditions, and compliance with ethical labor standards. By partnering with them, Lululemon could conduct regular factory assessments and audits. Through this, they can further improve these conditions and help them to establish an ethical benchmark. This will enhance transparency and attract ethical consumers, which can also mitigate reputational risk from potential labor scandals. Next, Lululemon should expand its sustainable product lines. By increasing the use of recycled materials and eco-friendly fabrics, the company can minimize its environmental footprint. A product recycling program could reward customers to return worn items in exchange for store credit, which creates a circular product lifestyle. Through investing in sustainable manufacturing technologies, will not only reduce the environmental impact, but also align with the growing demand for eco-conscious products. This move will differentiate Lululemon as a leader in the sustainable apparel. Another key recommendation is enhancing ethical consumer education. Lululemon should launch marketing campaigns that promote its ethical choices, such as sustainable sourcing and transparent supply chains. Through the collaboration with influencers and thought leaders, can also help educate consumers on the value of choosing ethical products. Transparent product labeling will also increase consumer trust, and by educating shoppers on ethical fashion, the company can build a loyal customer base of conscious consumers. Besides that, Lululemon should localize its marketing strategies while maintaining universal ethical standards. through the development of culturally sensitive campaigns that align with local values while staying true to the brand's core ethics will help it penetrate new markets. For example, in the Middle East, where modesty is highly valued, they could promote modest activewear such as longer leggings or hijabs designed for local preferences while ensuring the products are ethically sourced and produced. Training their local marketing teams to balance the cultural nuances with ethical messaging will also ensure that Lululemon's global appeal remains intact without ethical conflicts. Finally, it can continue innovating in fair trade and ethical certification. By partnering with fair trade certified suppliers, it can ensure that its products are made under fair, safe, and equitable working conditions, where workers receive fair wages and work in safe environments. These suppliers provide workers with additional income through a fair trade premium, which can be used for community development projects, healthcare, or education. The company could collaborate with similar suppliers to ensure that its apparel aligns with fair trade principles to provide a compelling story for ethical consumers. Also, by obtaining certifications like B Corp or RAP, Lululemon can further demonstrate its commitment to ethical production. Launching a fair trade certified clothing line will further appeal to socially conscious consumers and solidify its position as an ethical leader in the athletic wear industry. In conclusion, Lululemon is uniquely positioned to lead the athletic wear industry in ethical practices. By focusing on supply chain transparency, sustainability, and ethical consumer engagement, the brand can strengthen its reputation, foster customer loyalty, and differentiate itself from competitors. Focusing these ethical strategies will not only improve its brand image, but also contribute to long-term profitability. As the company continues to grow globally, it will set a benchmark for other brands to follow, ensuring that ethics and success go hand in hand. This brings us to the end of our presentation. Thank you so much for listening.